anything that you would like to ask me, otherwise I won't know what to talk about. My experience? Okay, Tim said my experience. One of the questions I get a lot is, how did I get the part of King Kong Escapes, especially since I had never acted before. Can you all hear me? Okay. When I was living in Japan, because my dad was in the Air Force, so right after I graduated from high school, we moved to Japan, and I got involved in modeling, and about 2 years in of living there, I did a magazine cover, a weekly magazine cover. There was another foreign model, American girl. She and I would, trade off every week. And Arthur Rankin of Rankin Bass, saw the magazine cover, and he found out I lived in Japan. He got my number somehow, and he called me one day and said, I want to talk to you about being in my movie. And that's how I got the part. I did not audition, because if I had auditioned, he probably wouldn't have hired me, because I had never acted in my life before, and I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, that's one of the questions I get quite often, is about how the heck did you ever get that part? And so that's the story behind that. I'm glad you all are here tonight to see the movie. As Tim said, I never told anybody, when I came back to the States, I never told anybody that I was in the movie, because I was horrified when I heard the voice that they used. And so I was kind of embarrassed. I never told anybody about the film at all. So it was a gigantic surprise when in 2015 I got a phone call from Japan. Brett Homnick was living in Japan, and he called me, introduced himself, and I said, oh, I used to live in Japan. And he says, I know. So that's when I found out that there was a following for the movie, that you all liked King Kong Escapes, and I was flabbergasted. I had no idea. And his line was, I've been looking for you, and my first thought was, what did I do? What did I do? So, an interesting thing there is the way he found me is he became friends with an old boyfriend I had in Japan who happened to remember my middle name. Because Linda Miller is like Bill Smith or Mary Jones, there's a million of us around. And so he knew my middle name, and that's how he found me. And then that's how the ball started rolling. So, I don't know what else to say. Anyway, I'm just really glad you all are here. And I was telling Tim, it's kind of like being in church. Everybody's sitting in the back, Nobody's in the front, up by the preacher. So I hope you enjoy tonight. I know Nigel has done something special that I'm going to stay for and watch. But I hope you all come tomorrow, and the rest of the weekend we're going to be available to sign autographs, take pictures, talk, just, do the whole G-Fest thing. So, and I'm really glad to be here. The last time I was here was in 2016 with Takarada-san. And with Korea. So I was in Okay, anyway. So, so that was the first time I was here, and Fuji? Okay. So that was the first time that I was here, was with Takarada-san. And that was really a wonderful experience, because that was in July of 16, but in January of 2016, I had gone to Japan, and Takarada-san and Nakajima-san and myself did conventions in Japan, a 3-day period. And so that was the first time I ever met Nakajima-san, because whenever I saw him one time when I was shooting the film, he was in his costume, his suit. And so I never really talked to him, just that one opportunity. So anyway, that was the last time I was here. I was sorry I missed him in 2019, because you know, as time marches on, I thought, I want to do a convention with him one more time before either of us go on. And I'm sorry that I missed that, but I know that Nakajima-san and Takarada-san loved you guys. They were so appreciative, especially Nakajima-san, who was so appreciative of the love and the affection and the devotion that you guys had for him. He did not receive that kind of respect that you showed him, and it really, really touched his heart. So, anyway, I guess that's it.